start it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 5. Who thought we would have gotten here? Chef Eric Gephardt coming at you, and let me introduce you to my good friend, the Sultan of Smoke, PITMASTERX, YouTube phenomena. Again, my great friend, Roel. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much, E-Smoke, E-Money, culinary director of Kamada Joe, best culinary chef in the barbecue scene at this moment. And
At this moment.
Yes, it's a very temporarily thing.
I'm only getting better, brother. Only getting better.
I noticed. What's in the background? What's happening?
So I got the Kamada Joe Classic 3 rolling right now with the tri-tip, and I've just been craving potatoes. Something about being quarantined and at home has got me thinking starch. And I've got kind of an issue, a little housekeeping I need to take up with you, PITMASTERX. I have busted this morning my second button on a pair of jeans. Not 2 buttons down, but literally my second pair of jeans. I have busted a button. So this thing we're doing where we're talking about food and I'm dreaming about food and I have food questions to ask you, it's leading me down a dangerous road. All right. My wife is putting me out on the street, meaning get your joggers on the road. 2 pairs of jeans.
Get moving, exercise. We share that issue. Let me roll the intro.
So back to the
Gotta
question.
love that intro. Gotta love that intro. Man, that must be the best intro on any podcast ever.
You know, I think it's funny, and I wonder about podcasts that are being made, and episode 5 and 25 have to be completely different. It's got to be like the first time you made a dish to like 5 years later. I think there's a steep learning curve on this podcast thing, and I think that intro is going to find that out shortly. So what sad. I've got on the grill, I've got a tri-tip, and I put it over a potato and onion and garlic, and then I seasoned that up, a little roast. So I seared the tri-tip, then I put it on top of the bed of potatoes and vegetables, and now I'm going to shut the grill down. So I've already got a bark starting on the outside. And
is this something you see a lot in Is this something you see a lot in restaurants in America? That they put the roast on top of the starch?
It's not so much a thing you'll see in restaurants just because of a time constraint. You know, when you sit down at a restaurant, well, when we used to sit down in restaurants, you don't have 45 minutes to let that potato finish, right? So even if you have a large roast and it's on top of there, you have to have a lower temperature not to burn the starches on the base. I think it's more of a home cook thing. This is more of like a Thanksgiving turkey over root roast kind of feel. There's a wholesomeness to this. There's a low and slow. There's a let's get everybody around the table 3 hours from now and have a feast kind of deal. Let's pop button number 3 on Eric's pants kind of deal.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. In Europe, it's the same thing. Where in the Netherlands and Germany, restaurants don't have time to wait for these things. But if you go to the southern parts of Europe, where they just put a big roast outside of the restaurant with a fire going, with the guy outside rotating it, and then underneath they always got that big tray to catch that pork fat. And let it drip into the carrots, into an onion, potatoes, stuff like that. And when you get that on your plate, it's so super heavy and so super flavorful. But it's really awesome to have that.
Do you remember when we were in Germany together, and I believe it was in Dusseldorf, and there was the restaurant with the wall of rotating pork knuckles, and we wanted to film in there, and they got so upset that we were bringing cameras into their restaurant that they literally ran us out. They let us pay for our food and sit outside and eat, but they did not let us film. And there's this wall of fire and these pork knuckles, and they're not rolling slow. It was like they were on fast forward.
Spinning.
And they're just spinning, drip, and they're collecting, just like you said, they're collecting all those juices. And that had to be the trick to their mashed potatoes. Those potatoes were pork-tastic, excuse me.
And I think they developed that burner themselves, and they were kind of getting upset. Probably somebody stole their thing before, and when we came in with cameras, they were like, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
So
Here we go.
yeah, I understand.
Do you understand that I kind of a little bit of more housekeeping? I was thinking about like cool places I've been. I'm getting this travel itch from being home week 6 now, almost week 7. Do you remember you put me up one night? I said, "Hi, Eric, I've got a great place. We're on the road, a great place for us to stay." We roll in, it's this beautiful castle, amazing grounds, and all of a sudden, the dude comes to the front door to check us in with a white lab coat, and you actually had the audacity to find the cheapest Airbnb, and it happened to be in a sane asylum. And we went in on the wrong floor, and they're screaming, they're kicking the doors, they're yelling, and I had to listen to that for 6 hours. I was the first one out of bed because I never went to sleep. I don't even know why I talk to you anymore.
I slept like a baby. I felt right at home.
No, you did not. There's no way.
But the first night, the night before that, we slept in. Oh no, the night before that we slept in Germany. Do you remember what the beds were like there?
Oh yeah, they're tiny. Germany has like the world's worst freaking hotels.
But
let me go ahead and tell you.
But you had blood on the walls,
oh yeah,
I had blood on the walls, and you had a cross carved into the ceiling or something.
Yeah. And I woke up to a cow looking through the window. I mean, amazing places you pick. Hey, everybody listening, if you go on a road trip with my fair good friend here, PITMASTERX, do not let him pick the accommodations.
And in Italy, we went to a honeymoon hotel, but we didn't know because we can't read Italian, so we went to the honeymoon hotel, and when we met up with our Italian friends, they completely laughed at us. Like, you staying at the honeymoon hotel, and we rode in there at 3:00 at night with the V8, waking up all the people that were honeymooning there.
I literally had a circle bed that could spin around. I felt like I was in Austin Powers, and then what was over the top was the heart-shaped tub.
Oh, I was thinking like mirrors on the ceiling.
All right, let's get real here. Let's thank our sponsors. Big shout out to PITMASTERX and to Eric Epar for sponsoring this episode. Hint, hint. We're out there, folks. We're out there. So let's get into the food seasoning. What is your yeah? We talked about it in episode 3 and episode 4. You're about this pyramid salt. Is that just big, flaky, like Florida Cell? Is that why pyramid? Is it actually shaped like a pyramid? Tell me real quick. I've been thinking about this.
The pyramids, they exist while or they form while they're drying. That's how you get these big pyramid shapes. But what happens when they form that shape? They get really nice and thin. So when they get applied to the meat, and when you're resting the meat, it's getting soft and it's getting soggy. It's kind of sweating. So when that pyramid salt is hitting that sweat, what happens is it starts to melt, but it just stays in that one area. And if you put a piece of pyramid salt in your mouth, you will know the difference. It's not sharp. It's not super salty. It's just lightly salted, but you will have it there, and it will give your meat a lot of flavor. And that's what I like about it. If you talk about fleur de sel, it's basically sea salt, but it's the top of the sea salt that they shaved off. And that's the lightest, like really super brittle. So it's also really fluffy and brittle, and that's perfect for finishing. So if you sprinkle that on, it's just going to melt away. It's just going to disappear. So a lot of people say, well, I season up front my steaks. And some people even say, hey, I season up front a day ahead of time. Well, I don't like I call that dry brining. I don't really appreciate it. Because it really changes the flavor of the steak. I do like dry brining, but then it has to be more specific. Like if you want to create like a ham-like flavor or with salmon that you're smoking, then it really works well for me. But with steaks, for instance, I rather have like a good finishing salt, and that's what I like for seasoning.
I like it. I like it. Generally, I'm still going, like this tri-tip I've got back here is probably, I don't know, 3.5 pounds. I find on the larger roasts, and we talked about this, I think you'd agree, we're going to build up more flavor profile if we put some creative seasonings on the outside of, say, a larger roast versus your individual steak. Yes? No.
Yeah. I did a tri-tip on the Masterbuilt smoker, and I had the fat cap on, and then what I like to do is treat it as a roast, do a reverse sear still, but heavily season it with a good barbecue rub or fresh herb coating, but make sure you get that red meat really nice and seasoned well. And then, of course, I like to use my fleur de sel to put in a fat cap and put a lot.
I saw you do something with that Masterbuilt gravity fed, and it was not a tri-tip. I got a bone to pick with you. Bologna. You smoked bologna. You hung bologna. That's like doing Spam, bro. What are you doing?
But
you hung the bologna.
But seriously, in America it might be Spam, but in Europe it's not. If
it's
you
still
say
bologna.
This to an Italian guy, he'd take your hat off.
From Bologna.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. It's in Europe. It's not Spam. It's like something they take very, very seriously. It's an art form.
I hear you, man. I've been to Hawaii. Spam's a serious thing in Hawaii. It's the meat of choice.
Is it?
Yeah, they've got Spam cookbooks. It's ridiculous.
No, but the thing is, like, if you go to Italy and you, because they call it mortadella.
Sure.
And Bologna is the place where it comes from. So It is a really high-priced, valued charcuterie. It's really, apparently not the same thing in America.
If you come to North Carolina and I make us bologna sandwiches for dinner, you're not going to be back the next night. Let's just say that.
There are pistachio nuts in there.
There could be. Well, then it's like, I think there's a difference between bologna and mortadella.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be the same thing.
Yes.
See, we're the thing that I smoked on the Masterbuilt.
I saw it.
It was not the cheap, horrible stuff. Not the Spam. It was definitely not Spam.
I know you're a quality guy. I think last time I was at your house, we had a piece of dry toast with chocolate sprinkles over the top. And I don't know how in the world you're supposed to eat this without sprinkles going everywhere. As they did, all over the floor.
That's the whole thing. That's how you do it. You can't.
It's so awkward. And I'm a closet eater. I don't like anybody watching me eat, and I've got to eat this piece of dried toast with sprinkles. And it was wonderful. I am a gracious guest, and you are such a wonderful host. But I don't know how to eat that toast and sprinkles deal. I struggle with that one.
Chocolate sprinkles, man, is the thing. If I take the chocolate sprinkles away from my kids, they're not gonna like me.
This leads me to something that I've been getting a lot of DMs about from people that are watching and listening to the podcast. PITMASTERX, name a couple of quarantine foods that might embarrass you right now. Quarantine confessions, brother. Culinary quarantine confessions. What do you got? What have you been snacking on besides bologna that you might not want the entire world to know about? You as an esteemed culinarian, the Sultan of Smoke, what you been doing, bro? Spill the beans.
The hardest part for me has been normally we eat potatoes. We eat like potatoes, vegetables, and meat. That's like the basic every day of the week kind of meal. And because I do a lot of barbecue, I also like to eat like a salad on off days or something like really light or soup or something like that. But lately, I've been not doing so well. So, like yesterday, we ate, and here we go. Yesterday, we ate shawarma.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, but the fast food version, and the day before that, we had frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza.
Hey man, hey. You know, if you're in a time pinch, I've got no problem with frozen pizza, but I'm going
No.
to say this, my friend. The cheaper, the better. The cheaper,
That's-
the better. There is
Totally.
nothing better. Do you have the brand Mr. T's or like Totino's? I'm talking like, I'm not paying more than $3 for a
Yes.
cheese frozen pizza out of
True.
the gas station if you have to. You know,
Yeah.
I'm the worse, the cheaper, the better on frozen
The better,
pizza.
yeah. If it's
Oh.
if it's like a frozen pizza that tries really hard not to be a frozen pizza, it's going to be the worst. Just buy a cheap frozen horrible one, and that's better. But for me, it wasn't a time constraint. It's just this whole Corona thing, being at home and sitting there. It's just kind of like, it's like, where's the discipline? Where's the action, man? I kind of miss that action. I kind of miss going out there, doing things, and yeah, I want to go places. I want to go to barbecue competition. I want to see people. I want to do things. I want to have events.
You're a social animal. I know you. Yeah, yeah.
I'm suffocating.
You thrive on the energy of others, and thank goodness you've got so much going on right now. I want to talk about the barbecue barn here in a second, but I want, and our listeners want, a little bit more on. I don't think we've dug deep enough. You said frozen pizza. I think you're harboring some dirty little culinary secret, some snack. If you're skipping lunch, what is the item that you're going to in your pantry that's just like?
I think worldwide, not many people know about this, but in the Netherlands, you have this thing called the frikandel. Did you ever had the frikandel in the Netherlands? It's like compressed meat, and it looks like, it looks like a sausage,
Chipped meat.
but it's not. Yeah, but it's not even chipped. It's just like went through the blender and then they shaped it and glued it together, and they deep fry it.
Bro, are
Well,
you talking like a Slim Jim? Like a jerky Slim Jim? Snap into a Slim Jim?
Yeah,
Randy
it's,
Savage?
but it's still sausage, but there's no casing.
Yeah. And no refrigeration necessary, right?
No. You can leave it out for months. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah. It's gotta be like a Slim Jim. Those are delicious. The more MSG, the better, I swear. Hey,
Yes.
anything that I can eat cold out of the refrigerator that has meat in it, and the kids are already in bed, and the only thing I can see, I'm seeing by the glow of the refrigerator light, and I'm
Yes.
eating anything that's in a container that I don't have to rewrap. I want to be able to pop the lid off of it, and I want to be able to eat it in secret, and I want to be able to put the lid back on it, and I want to be able to reach out and put it back. That's indefinitely where I knock something over and wake the dog up, which wakes the wife up, and now I'm
Yeah.
busted, and now
There
I'm going
you
to have
go.
to go another 5K because I busted another frickin' button on my pants, bro. This is, I'm putting on the quarantine 15, the Corona 15. I think
But-
I'm putting on the Corona 15. Look at my cheeks.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But we all, I think I would love to see the person that doesn't have it. Like, who doesn't have it? I mean, everybody.
Oh, there's
has it.
some beasts. No. There's some beasts out there, man. There's some people who are taking this as the perfect
Not
opportunity.
during Corona. Those are the gym beasts. They can't go to the gym.
I'm
The
watching
gym is
them on
closed.
Instagram. I'm watching them on it. It has
All
to be
fake.
true.
Come
I saw
on.
it
It's
on
a filter.
Instagram.
Nobody
Fake
believes
news?
that. It's a filter.
Fake news?
Definitely. It's a filter, man. I can make you look like that if you want to.
I need this filter. I need
All
this
right.
filter. This is wonderful.
Hey, if
So
you're
I
not
think-
following Eric on Instagram yet, check out his Instagram account, Eric Gebhardt at Instagram. Freaking awesome. He got some of the best stuff. Yes, it's on fire over there. So check out his Instagram account.
I got some crazy stuff coming up on my Instagram pretty soon, bro. I've been shooting some stuff, and
before we get, before you start rambling on about your Instagram,
you started
no, come on, let me finish this. The reason why I brought up the Slim Jims, the Frikandellen, is in the Netherlands there's a new trend going on.
Oh, tell us.
We need to talk about it. It's Slim Jims burned ends.
This is going to be a first on our podcast. I'm gonna cuss here for a second. Bullshit. No way.
See,
you said Slim Jim burn ends.
That's it.
Tell me about that.
Because we don't have Slim Jims, but it's called Frikandellen. What they do is just chop it up. They chop it up and put the sweet sauce on it, and just set it in the barbecue and let it go until it's almost burned, and then stick a fork in it, enjoy it. You just need to warm it up and wait until the sauce is caramelized.
This is Franks and beans. This is like
20 minutes, and you got your Slim Jims burned ends.
Do you have to cut them, or are they made into like little Vienna sausages?
Yeah. Like you cut them up. You cut them up like little bits. Yeah. Gotta have like a little bit of a burned ends experience.
Yeah.
So this is somebody came up with this like I think it was like a joke a couple of months ago, and everybody started doing it. It was like the new thing. So yeah. So I'm proud to be Dutch.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking I've been resisting making them, but I've been secretly during this coronavirus been thinking about them. That's why even bringing them up here, it's like, what's happening to me? Why? It's even
you're
worse.
Putting on your body is craving that Rona 15. That's what's going on. There's some kind of conspiracy going on. I have a secret stash of Reese's peanut butter cups, not the little ones, the jumbo ones, in the back of my freezer, in the deep, dark depths behind the vodka, hanging back there, a bag. And when my kids aren't looking, I go in. And I'm selfish. Sometimes I get two. And if a kid comes in, I throw them. I just throw them. Like, I don't want to share them. I'm going to throw them, and where they land, I'll hear it, and I'll go get them later. Those are my little go-to treats. Oh, I love them. I love them so much.
Treats.
And
don't touch my treats.
They have to be frozen, bro. They have to be frozen. And we got watermelons coming up now too. I can't stop eating the watermelons. The sugar, the natural sugar, man. It's still sugar, you know.
Yeah. I got the same thing with the pitless grapes, the red pitless grapes.
Oh yeah,
seedless grapes. Oh man, they're so fantastic. They're absolutely.
That's I can pop them. That's not a guilty pleasure. That's not a guilty pleasure.
No, but the thing is
that's like a healthy pleasure. What are you dipping pitas in hummus and calling that a guilty
seriously,
pleasure
but
too?
The problem isn't the health issue. The amount of it that I can eat out of boredom. I could eat two of these whole packs of these things, but not because I'm hungry, because I'm watching outside, doing the same thing over and over again, waiting for something to happen, waiting for you to call me. Hey, let's do a podcast.
You are what you are. I can.
Why did you think we came up with the podcast idea? So we have something to do.
Well, we got plenty to talk about. I'm watching what you're doing, and you're shooting. I mean, I think you can pretty much look at somebody's Instagram stories and really get an idea, kind of like rabbit hole stalk them a little bit. And I've been stalking you, bro. I've been stalking you. I see great progress on that barbecue barn out there. What in the world, A, were you thinking? Because it's humongous. And B, you got to be employing half the people in the Netherlands on this thing, bro. This is a work of art. Tell me about it.
It's a work of art. I like to create things, and this for me was on my list. At my old house, I was cooking in my backyard 5 days a week, starting up. And you know the backyards in the Netherlands. They're not like the average backyards. They're like, I don't know, like small. small, like 8 meters by 12 meters. What's that in feet? That's 24 feet by 36 feet.
It's tiny.
It's tiny. It's tiny.
And I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to tell on you for a second, because those of you who don't know the amount of videos Pitmaster puts out, and not just videos, but quality videos. Like, he has been doing this. How many years have you been shooting in the former house? How many years did you shoot in your last studio?
I think around seven years. Yeah.
So those of us in the U.S., he's doing it in his side yard, shares a fence with a neighbor, and the grandfather next door has got the most beautiful whistle in the world. But he only does it to piss off PITMASTERX. He knows when he starts filming, and then he starts. What's the tune? Do you know the tune? Can you do the tune?
No.
You've heard it a million times. I can't whistle.
It a million times.
He
has the loudest voice. He goes like,
oh, and so he knows. It's like trying to shoot video or like go on a call where the audio is super important and your neighbor starts up a lawnmower. I mean, he knows what he's doing. PITMASTERX put up with 7 years of that. So I'm so thankful for you have your own space. Is that what you're creating? Just your own attitude, your own space, a reflection of you and your family?
Yeah, and I think it's like the neighbors are 300 meters away from here, so that's the biggest plus. But what I really wanted to do, I want to create something, and some things are getting in the way of that, and like neighbors' noise is getting in the way of that, lighting is getting in the way of that, and if you want to create something perfect, you got to create the perfect environment to do it in, and I wanted to create something inspiring, and step by step, I'm creating that. So, but the casing, the basis of it has to be perfect. And sometimes you just have a beautiful scenery, and you can stand there. You know, if you're grilling in the Grand Canyon, it looks fantastic. That's why we did the 7 strip. You know, if you're in that such a river, you light up a barbecue, and it's perfect. But if you're in the backyard of a house that stands in the Netherlands, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. And so what I'm creating right now is a beautiful old barn, and it used to be a pig barn. So this is like a full circle thing. Used to be a place where pigs were fed, bred, grown, and then off to the butchers. Used for over 40 years to breed pigs in, and now partially broke down, and now we're building it up again to the point where we can actually use it. And what I'm trying to do is kind of create these nice little areas where you get a good barbecue vibe going, where I feel like I can barbecue comfortably, and I can give everything to my audience, the best thing that I can do, you know, make the best videos, create the best podcasts. But you got to have the vibe. It's got to be right.
I imagine there's going to be more benefits to this than you can even imagine. I think about your 2 wonderful children growing up in this space and being able to run in that grass and just go, go, go. And you've got a great Pyrenees dog to chase after them, and you got chickens. I mean, this is a lifestyle, you know, and I feel like that barn is going to kind of epitomize your move from, you know, the outer edge of the city to truly the country. You know, it's a place of refuge for you. I feel like it's more than just a barn.
Definitely. I grew up in the city. I'm a city boy, and I can tell.
I used to take out, not cooking for yourself. Yeah, not handy pizza, around the grill.
Frozen pizza. No, but the thing is, like, I used to work in factories, and I hated being in buildings. I really love being outdoors, and every moment that I was in the forest, I was walking with the kids or doing something outside, and I took my bike or take pictures of wildlife, stuff like that. I love that, but now I live there. You know, I just look at the window, and wildlife is there. The hares are running around in the fields, and I got my chicken running around. Everything's out there, you know. I just have to open the door, and I'm in nature. And that's fantastic. That's what I love. And that enhances my life so much. And I wish it for a lot of people. And sadly, the Netherlands is a small place, so it isn't available for everybody. But, I'm very fortunate to have barbecue giving me that opportunity.
I'm going to ask you this. This is a personal question, PITMASTERX. Are you finding yourself peeing outside more now? It is so liberating to just be able to go wherever you want to go.
I
Yes,
can do
yes
whatever
or no?
I want. Yes.
Yes.
I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want, and don't tell me how to live my life.
Don't
Now
tell me
you
how to live
got
my
it.
life.
Now you got it.
I can set things on fire. I can pee wherever I want. I can
Pee where I want to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There's something to be said for that.
That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Men should be able to pee wherever they want.
And women. Cheers.
And women. Oh, cheers. I got an empty glass, but there you go.
What
cheers.
is it with you and an empty glass these days? You really are.
It's not even half full. It's not even half full.
Losing
It's
a
just,
step. Losing a step.
I'm not losing anything, man.
Uh-huh. I hear you. Episode 4 was water. Episode 5, empty glass. That's losing a step, bro.
Oh, that's true. I started with beer. Oh, no. With the Wee Man, see, I didn't have anything to drink with the Wee Man.
Okay, so those of you who
time.
have not started with us since episode 1, I think it was episode 2, all of a sudden we've got a great friend of ours, Wee Man, Jason from Jackass. And by the way, quick plug for them, Jackass 4 is as soon as we come out of this quarantine thing, boom, they're going to restart filming. And, his stunts that he does, him getting chased by bulls. And I mean, he's just an incredible pro skateboarder. We had him on the show. He's a great griller. He's got the Joe Jr. and he takes it very seriously. Look at his Instagram. It's I Am Wee Man. And we were fortunate enough. He was so gracious with his time and he whooped my tail on a Battle Kamada Joe Wagyu steak. That was just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. I don't even know. I want to tell you this. He sends me several notes a week dogging me, saying, bro, I seen your cooks. How come you keep trying to be like me? I keep trying, chef. Like, he is dog.
If I go live,
if I go live
like him.
No, that dude's lived 10 lifetimes in one lifetime. He's incredible.
We can catch up on that.
He is the shadow I can't shake right now. Everywhere I go, he pops up and he's jeering at me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He's got me shook.
Over.
He's got me shook.
We can have him I would love to see the rematch on the steaks.
Oh, I need a little time. Too fresh. Too fresh.
Okay. So, Eric, I got questions too in the DM, and one of them was, what is the weirdest guest encounter you had? So, like, you worked in restaurants, you must have had some freaky people coming over, you did a lot of events, there must have been some nut jobs coming over to you. What's your best story, man? What's the craziest thing?
Oh, best story will not be discussed on this, brother. No way,
come
no
on.
how.
You got to give this.
It'll come out eventually. You know what I mean? But, best
this
guess.
is the moment. Come on, Eric. Nobody listens to this podcast. It's safe. Nobody listens.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen the numbers. Cooking for the Beastie Boys was pretty cool. As I was growing up, I had their tape stuck in my tape player, and I just heard the one side of that album. Boom, 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 boom. I was so excited to cook for the Beastie Boys, and then all they did was order pommes frites and aioli, like a huge platter for the whole table. This is a fine dining restaurant, right? So that was a bust. But I did, hanging out with Mike D and those boys up. That was cool. Cooked for a couple presidents, done omelets and such for some famous folks. Cooked for Alicia Keys, Jeff Bridges, of course, all the NFL players and such that come through the restaurants and, with all the charity events that we do. But I would say the weirdest non-alcohol related customer that I've had, because alcohol
just a
drives
nut
people-
job.
Yeah.
Because
So
let me paint a picture here. We do the event is Poga in Germany, which is like a really big event where like a trade fair where all barbecue companies are present and a lot of people show up. Garden fair, and there are some
100,000 people. 100,000
Yeah.
people.
And there's always some freaky person trying to, when you're holding that plank and you're still cutting the steak, they put their hand underneath that knife and trying to pick out the pieces of steak that you're freshly cutting off, and you're telling them the whole wait, don't put your fingers in front of my knife, and they still put their fingers in there. And there was this lady there. She kept coming back and telling you did everything wrong. And I know she's
2
right,
years in a row. 2 years in a row. I recognize her. I told her. I said, I remember you. You're going to be my best friend. I own those. Let me give you.
But what-
Let me give you a little.
But she was weird.
Advice, bro. But don't worry about the weird. Don't worry about the weird. Listen. Here's a little bit of advice to everyone listening right now. Whether it's a personal relationship or people shooting you messages that you have to message back with. If somebody comes at you with some wacky weird stuff, out-weird the weirdos. All right, if you can out-weird them, they're gonna walk away. They're gonna walk away. Oh yeah, and I'm not talking language barrier here with this lady. I've had people come into the restaurant before saying they had stainless steel allergies and could I help them out? I'm like, well, I can't talk to you about the percentage of stainless steel in our silverware or how you even walk through the door and open the door. Like, people will come up with the craziest allergies. And then as soon as you like pick on and internalize those allergies, you'll start mentally picking up those allergies yourself. So you got to watch out. It's like being a psychiatrist and taking on the conditions of your patients, So like it gets real funky. But the weirdest people in restaurants are the ones that are your brothers and sisters in arms that you're cooking with. At least you hope so, right? Weird keeps this world spinning, bro. I thrive off of weird stuff, man. I have met so many weirdos. And I just absolutely love it. I mean, I had a waiter that I had no idea wore a wig, and one day he takes off his wig and he's got this beautiful globe of the earth tattooed on his skull, and he's walking around downtown with his server apron on as a cape, walking to work every day. Best server you ever had in your entire life. You know what I mean? I think his name was Johnny. I don't know. But I've had people just cut and run too. You know what I mean? Like people are cool, and then things happen. The industry is full of like pirates and miscreants, and sometimes it pays just to sit back and listen and get through a shift, and then spend another 6 hours with them until the sun comes up. All good things in the restaurant industry. But weirdest guest I've ever had, it's going to come to me at 3 a.m, bro. You know what I mean? We can say whatever we want to right now, but I would have to say. But
how high would you rate that German lady then? Because she was coming back 2 years in a row, picking on you, because that's not normal. At these events, if people don't like it, they just walk on, they move on. But if like there are 10, 15 people that are like, wow, this is so super cool, and this one person just stands in between these 15 people that are enjoying everything and just starts picking on the guy that's serving everybody food, and everybody's giving her the stink eye because they're thinking like, what's wrong with this lady? She's really trying to pick a fight.
And that's a thing. I'll be honest with you, she's a 3 or a 4. All right. And you have to have empathy. You don't get far in the restaurant industry or the food industry if all you do is think about food and cooking, because you don't serve food to food. You serve food to people. So really you're in the people industry, and people are messed up, bro. And we talked about it last episode, how the Dalai Lama was telling this story about the bear trap around the dog that bit the guy's finger off. Check out the last episode. We don't need to redig that right now.
I don't have that tolerance.
Everybody, if you think about it, everybody's got their bear trap around them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if somebody's having a really bad day or a really bad 2 years in a row with you, something's going on in that person's psyche or mind that's making them like that. It's not a reaction to what it is you and I are doing on the grill that 99.9% of the people are like, I've never seen anything in the world like this, and this is the best thing since sliced bread. If this person is consistent, I can appreciate that. And that's something I learned from my wife. If someone can be completely such a weirdo, but be consistent, I can handle that. I can dig that. I can read that, and I can interact with that. The weird weirdos are the peaks and valleys.
I bet you at this moment she's bummed out. There will be no Spoga this year because of the coronavirus.
Is that right? Are we missing it?
Yeah, of course we are. You think it's still going? It's September.
Bro,
I hope we're going, but I think
my head's a time machine. It's been 6 weeks. It feels like 2 days to me. And I know a lot of people are hurting, and that sounds silly, but straight up, I'm in my own bubble. I'm having Eric Gephardt kind of fun every day. I saw 2 snakes today. I built a ninja course.
Too? Huh? You know who has that? The goldfish. Swims around. Like, wow. Never been here before. This place is awesome. And then swims around like, oh, wow. You got the same thing with your backyard. Whoa, snakes. Oh, yeah. And then you walk around, you see the same snakes. Wow.
Oh, these are biddies. These are bitty garter snakes that were just born, which is a weird time of the year for them to be born. But I guess it was a relatively warm winter. That's a side note. I'm seeing all kinds of new birds migrate in. The bees are going. We're making honey. Got the pool cover off today, working on an outdoor kitchen. It's no PITMASTERX barn, but I've got a local company here helping me design an outdoor kitchen to shoot videos in, and nice. I think I'm going to have sticker shock and completely back off the project. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. You know, exciting things. So we've talked about a little bit about our quarantine confessions. Yeah. We've talked about the barbecue barn. We've talked about some of the weirdos that we've encountered along the way. And to be honest with you, you've kind of pushed me into a lot of those scenarios. Spoga, the insane asylum, cow fishing. I don't know how you came up with that.
Whoa. Don't push it the whole thing in like making it my fault.
Swimming in the ocean in France.
Don't be a wee man here.
Yeah. I think you even pushed me into a body of water somewhere. I don't know where that was, but anyways.
So let's do a little positive then. What is on your culinary mind? What is going on? I know you did like the Thor's hammer. You did the dragonfish.
Mm-hmm.
What is your culinary mind? What's your latest thing you're thinking of about creating that you haven't created yet, that nobody saw yet, that you wanna secretly tell us about? What are you thinking? Maybe if it's not finished in your head, don't worry about it. We'll just work on it together.
It's never finished.
Maybe I can steal it for one of my videos.
You stole the dragon salmon. Hey, if anybody wants to know what's hot in my mind and what I've just come up with besides baloney, just hop on
PITMASTERX videos. I know you were gonna say that.
No, I'm working with this like flat plate on a pottery table and spinning. And separating sauces and then using the clear stuff on the bottom, so all the gunk and stuff rises up to the top, and then accessing the clear, like what would be beet juice and like super beet flavor, and reducing it down, and playing around with like clear sauces. So I've made a clear bacon broth that has 0 fat to it. And so it just looks like water, and when you taste it, it's like somebody slaps you in the face with a piece of cooked bacon. Pretty cool. I found that caramelized onions and soy sauce bring out the umami and the salty enough, and I'm able to freeze my liquid with my bacon in it and let it drip through cheesecloth over a period of 2 days. And those drippings, once I've used like a bunch of agar in there, have really encapsulate the fat. And so I've been playing around with some stuff. But as far as cuts and fabrications and things that people would really want to mess with and steal that aren't just like mad scientist kind of stuff, you don't have to get any chemicals or anything. I'm working on a double braided salmon, which I'm really excited about. Because it's a long fish, but we talked about this, I think, in episode 2. Somebody asked where we get our inspiration from, and obviously it's what's fresh and what's popping out of the garden right now. I'm looking at the way the tomato plants grow. I'm really staring at these things, trying to see if they're going to grow in front of me. I got some time on my hands, bro. I'm a bit out there, but I think sometimes I can hear them grow. But the salmon, like the structure of a salmon, the structure of a tomato plant, I think the way nature pulls things up, systems, arrows going this way, arrows going that way. I'll tell you the most exciting thing I can share with you that makes any freaking sense is I'm working on a cookbook. Boom. Haven't mentioned it.
Wow.
I've got 20 years of recipe work in the top restaurants around the world. I've been on the grill.
Let me make sure you're not writing it down with a pen and paper, right?
Yeah, I'm writing it down with pen and paper.
Oh. Who's going to type it out?
Nobody. I want to photocopy this jank. I want it exactly the way
Let me tell you what Eric does. He goes to an event and he says, every recipe that I got here, I've available for you guys. I brought
Yes.
like a whole, I don't know how you call it, a multi-map, like a folder. And every recipe,
a journal,
handwritten. You can take a picture of it. You can take it home and you can make it for yourself. And people go,
I share 100% of my recipes.
Yeah, he shares 100% of his recipe. Everybody's
You
like,
can read 1% of them.
Freaking awesome. I'm going to take that picture. And they walk up to that journal and they're trying to take a picture, like trying to read it. Like, I can't read that. What does it say? They can't decipher it. They can't even read it. So basically, you're getting people all excited. And in the end, what do you give them?
Hope.
Skunked. Zero. Hope.
Yeah, I think there's something about the creative and dyslexic mind of a chef that just I can't get the ideas out fast enough, and so maybe I'm left-handed and just don't know it, and my right hand just like I'm going, and I forget to turn the page. I just keep angling the book and writing in all the white spaces, and all of a sudden I got this freaking beautiful mind of a book. But I think if I can, I'm looking for somebody to help organize it. But if I don't get it all out of my head, it's not going to happen.
I totally agree with you. But if you don't write it down, in your head, it's always evolving. So it's going to continue. And if you don't write it down, you're losing the point of view that you had before.
Yeah.
So you're evolving, but you didn't capture what you had.
And the moment's a beautiful thing. Being in the moment is so much of what cooking means to me. It's not about the perfect recipe. Screw any recipe you've ever written, you've ever read, you've ever been a part of. It's just a guideline, the method in the moment. I mean, that's probably the name of the book right there. We just came up with it. I'll kick you 5 cents for every book. The method in the moment. It's so awesome just to be cooking over live fire and interacting with the flame and making decisions right on the moment. How much salt do I need to put in? A little more, a little less? Oh, I put too much salt in. Let's bulk it up with some of this bok choy, kick out a little bit of the soy and alter it, and here we go. And then in the end of a live video like that, somebody's like, hey, can I have that recipe? I'm like, that's more freaking work than the entire 2-hour freaking cook, right? Like to reverse engineer a recipe for me is a nightmare. So for me to be able to get, plus I'm dyslexic, you know what I mean? That's why they call me 3 Rick. The E backwards. My brother to this day is still like, yo, 3. It's not the E. It's endearing in an endearing way. But to me, the creative side, this is culinary arts we're involved with, friends. You know, it's not baking and pastry, which is more of a science and exact art. I get super excited when I get excited. I lose myself. I've lost days when I've been on the road. I've literally lost days where I just freaking, the trip is
Let's
over.
not get into that because I got some stories about you losing days.
I lose days. I've lost a week. I lost a week in Australia. You know what I mean? But when I was done, I had left over this red notebook,
Hey,
and
dude.
50% of it, 50% of it's filled up with the most brilliant stuff I've ever come up with, and 25% of that was made up on the airplane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the airplane is like a magical place. This is where you're sitting down, you're strapped in, nowhere to go. You got to write down. It's like the ultimate version of the staying at home during the coronavirus.
I feel like there's a sense of danger as well, and anytime there's a sense of danger, let's say, like for me, my best day, and of course it's got to be about contrast, so there has to be sunny days sprinkled in there, but my best day is a slight drizzle, a rumble of thunder in the distance, and that greenish hue outside, and I got to light the grill or start a live fire. The clouds, those cumulus clouds, are low, so the ceiling's low. Everything feels compressed, and it's animalistic, right? It's everything is closer. There's a sense of danger in the air. You don't want to drive. You don't want to think about cars. You want to be a part of nature. You're closer to the elements. Like in that moment and in that kind of situation, bro, I could write 15 to 20 recipes a day. That would obviously need, somebody else would have to hold them and watch me work and change all the numbers and probably take the method and flip it upside down. But to just be in the moment.
The whole idea of this cookbook is going to be very, very creative. I hope you don't change it too much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I love the dyslectic part of the Eric part, and I think your cookbook it has to have that character. So
if somebody's listening, if somebody's listening right now, and
nobody's listening anymore, man. We've been going for more than 40 minutes. So who's left?
5%.
You scared all of them away.
5%.
No, the good people are still listening, and I know some of you guys are. So, but I love the idea of you writing a book, and we got to talk about it more, man. You got to keep us posted during these podcasts as we go along.
I'd love to have you as a chapter in that.
And I've got one project that I'm a little bit hesitant about. And we talked about it before, but I'm going to do a whole sheep in the ground.
Oh, you got to have me over. You got to have me over for that. I was born to whole animal cook. I'm in.
See. So the first part is I got to dig a hole, right? And the second part, I got to do some masonry work because I'm not going to dig a hole and then fill it up again and not using it. So this is the beautiful thing where I live right now is I got to keep that hole for future cooks.
You don't necessarily need to do the hole, though. You could just do stacked masonry and then halfway up put your chicken wire in and then continue to build masonry and have a metal base to it. But you want to be elemental and dig in the earth. You want to do like luau style or this pau sami. Like you want to dig in the earth. You don't have to do a pit.
No. The problem is I don't want to, but I have to.
Okay.
Because I posted this question on my YouTube channel on the community, and I told people just go crazy, whatever you want, I'll do it. It was in the beginning of the quarantine phase. So I was like, oh, I got plenty of time. I can do anything.
Yes.
But now I got this whole lamb, which is rather large, and it's got to go in the ground. I'm watching these videos, and these are big pits. These are big holes. And
you got the tractor.
Like, who has a tractor?
I thought you have a tractor.
No, dude, I don't. I have a lawnmower.
You need a tractor. I'm going to send you a link. All right, go ahead.
I definitely need a tractor.
Can you imagine picking up a Big Joe 3 with just using the ski lift?
Oh, That will be so nice.
I've
That will
had the
be nice.
opportunity a
And
couple times cooking on farms to have farmers come over and do that for me. It's like save hours. Anyways,
yeah.
you need a tractor.
Yeah.
So you're going to
So I'm
dig
digging
a
a
hole. Yeah.
Got to do some masonry work because I want to keep the hole. Have some kind of like an iron lid made, and then figure out, because the specific request was do it like a Mexican style, and I was researching it, but they got these leaves that they use of kind of like I don't know, it's called peca or something. I can't remember what the correct leaves were, but I was thinking like, we don't have those leaves. What do I replace them with? Do I use butcher's paper? Do I?
That's interesting.
Do I just wrap them in
Corn, soaked corn husks or banana leaves. Those are your two options in my mind.
Yeah, soaked corn husk could work.
Oh, so good.
But it's still a long way before the corn is at a decent level. Yeah. This is September.
Well, you're in no rush. You don't have to do it now. But you need to dig the hole.
I got a lamb in my freezer. It's getting frostbite. I got to do it now.
Oh.
So it's like this week or next week is going to happen.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. I wish I had something keeping me up at night like this. Some kind of ultimate test of fire and earth.
Yeah, self-created barbecue problem.
The best stuff. The best stuff is self-created, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
It all of a sudden you feel like you've accomplished everything on your checklist, and then 2 minutes later you feel overwhelmed. It's peaks and valleys. It's seesaws. Take some of this pressure off your shoulders. Everyone's feeling the same way. You have been fortunate enough to be able to bottle up all of your anxieties and label it a lamb in the earth. I think that's what's really going on here, PITMASTERX.
See?
I think that's what's going on. This is an embodiment of how you feel about everything going on with COVID and your anxieties and your aspirations. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I can see it so clearly. Your bill's in the mail, brother. Your bill's in the mail.
I was hoping for technical advice, but I hope. Did you?
My technical advice is don't frickin' bury it in the ground, bro. Did you ever
do it?
I've seen it. Yes, I have done it. Yes, I've done it, and yes, it's been really cool and successful. So the way that I've seen it done really well is better than I've done it. But the way I did it was we wrapped the entire animal, splayed out in chicken wire, and then packed soaked corn husks in that chicken wire, and then wrapped it even more, started a fire, snuffed that out, put it skin side down, frame side up, and then put a whole nother layer. And to us, corn husks are you pick them up off the ground by the frickin' pounds, and it takes a lot to make a pound. And just stack it in there, pack more warm rocks on top, and then cover it with sand. And the animal cooks quicker than you think it will. So effort is like 10 times longer than the actual cooking process. You go to a luau. Yeah. I
said that's why I want to keep the pit. That's why I'm thinking, like, if I'm digging a hole, I'm going to keep the hole, because I got to do more than that. And now I have this place where I can keep the hole. Nobody's bothered by my hole. Nobody's going to complain about it. It's my hole.
What about under that
made
trampoline?
That hole.
You've got the trampoline. Why don't you just move the trampoline and do it with it? That's too big of a hole. That's too big.
That's too big. Yeah. And I will be in trouble. Can't move the trampoline. Don't touch the trampoline.
That's right. Your barn workers are enjoying doing backflips too much on their break.
Yeah. You saw that.
I tell you, bro, I've been rabbit hole stalking you, man. I know what's going on.
Yeah, you do. All right. Eric, I think it's time. We need to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up. And for those of you, it's been an hour. Thank you for spending an hour with us. And I want to let you know that we PITMASTERX and I really appreciate everybody who made it all the way to the end of this, and also we've got some very exciting news and very exciting topics. Keep sending us those DMs about what it is you want to talk about. We've got exciting tips and techniques coming up, and some things that really grind our gears. All right, that's some fun stuff to talk about. PITMASTERX, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Chef Eric. And don't forget to check us out. Check out Chef Eric on his Instagram account. Check out my YouTube channel, PITMASTERX. And thank you for my part, all of you listeners that are still left at the end of this podcast. And hope you enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Or I still haven't figured this part out.